Rambling part 2. So what more do you guys want to know? I don't know. I was starting to talk the other day, except the camera cut out, about the different stores, and basically Michael's is closest to me, and I've come to really find where all the aisles are of stuff I like. So I start with Michael's, and I learn all the things that I buy a lot of, and I use a lot of, and I need, and then eventually, when I have a list of those things, then I look online to try to find them cheaper. AliExpress is the cheapest because you're getting it directly from Southeast Asia, where everything comes from. Don't think for a minute that it's cheap because it came from China or India. Literally 98.72% of everything you own is made up of products that were manufactured in China or India or some part of Southeast Asia. And that's just world economics. That has nothing to do with good or bad or anything. That's just the state of 50 years ago. The poorest countries in the world with incredibly hard workers just wanted to do all the dirty work of manufacturing stuff, and were able to do it super cheap and just got a handle on that. And then the largest consumers, being in the West, partnered up with them, and it's just worked. It's helped. People talk about all those sweatshops and everything like they're the most horrible thing ever, but they're actually steps out of poverty, because before that, whole families were trying to subsist on their tiny little farms and starving, and so now they're making like double or triple that, which is still a ridiculous wage for people in the West, ridiculously low, but it's a step up, several steps up, and then from there, every generation it moves up. Anyway, political theory aside, get your stuff from AliExpress. Amazon is easier to search because it's English-based, so the search is easier. The keywords make more sense. AliExpress will frustrate you when you're trying to find stuff. They're for one of the 8th largest website in the world. Their search and a lot of their other quirks in their website is really screwy. But just navigate over that. Consider yourself in the Wild West, and understand that 10% of the stuff you get is going to be garbage, just because you have to wade through that. But 90% is going to be quality, and it's going to be the same stuff that you would buy at the store, marked up 10 times, 5 times to 10 times. So you go over to Michael's and you buy something, they had it manufactured in China or India, and then they raised it 5 times. That's why then when they give you these incredible sales, 60% off, they're still making a great deal. Now, Amazon's in the middle. Amazon will cost more often, but sometimes you can get really good deals. You're still going to pay twice as much as you will on AliExpress, but you'll get 2-day shipping instead of waiting 2 to 3 weeks. So that's good. And like I said, the English keywords are easier to understand. So basically, if I need a quick fix, I go to Michael's, I go to Joann Fabrics. I have a love-hate relationship with Joann because they got really screwy with their coupons. At first, they demanded you download an app and go through all these steps just to get simple coupons. Then they start saying they won't take competitors' apps. There's an understanding. Michael's, AC Moore, Hobby Lobby, and Joann Fabrics are all supposed to take each other's coupons because they're competitive. So Michael's has a 50% off one item. Joann says they'll honor that. We'll do 50% because we want you to shop here. Well, Joann decided to be the snootier of the 4 and said, nope, we're not going to take your coupon. Not if we have some little loophole like, that's a specific brand we don't do coupons on. So they kind of annoyed me, and I started to get a little bit frustrated with some of their cashiers, and they threw me some coupons to appease me. But at the end of the day, I don't like being that person. I don't like being negative. So we live in such an incredibly blessed world. So anyway, there's my ranting about that. If I could get everything on AliExpress, I would, because their prices are amazing. But basically right now, I get my chain. I get bulk sets of chain with the clasp already on it, already cut to about 18 inches from Amazon. I get a few other things from Amazon. Jump rings. I'm in an endless search for good jump rings. You get these. This is a cool set. This is antique brass and silver, 2 of the most common colors I use, right? And it got the graduated sizes, which I love. I was buying these little wheels for $1, and I was filling them up with graduated sizes for a while. And I had one size for silver, one size for, well, this started to be antique copper, but then I threw bright copper in there too because I didn't have an extra wheel. So this is my copper wheel. This is my antique brass wheel. It looks kind of dirty. You can't see until I open it up, but you know, different size jump rings, and I'll also throw in the clasp, the lobster clasp, which is pretty much the only clasp I like to use unless I hand make some kind. Oh, and these guys, whatever, I keep remembering, spring closures. You stick them on the end of a cord or leather cord or something, and then you crimp it, and then you have an instant little loop to attach stuff to. I always forget the names of those. Anyway, silver, same thing. So this isn't silver, sorry, this is black gunmetal. So I have my black gunmetal, this is my silver. This top broke, but I'm still using it. Hopefully I won't tip it over. Brass, copper. These are my 4. And then I'll buy some, and they already come in these little packs. You can get a good deal. You can get a pack of these for like $6-7. But the problem is, half of them are good, and the other half are like this. I can't explain it if you're not here to actually touch them in person, but you'll know what I talk about if you've seen a bunch of jump rings before. These guys are like too thin. They're wire thin, and they don't feel like they're strong enough when they're holding the piece, and they're so flimsy. They feel like if somebody pulls just a little bit, it's going to pop right off. So they're pretty much useless unless if you really want to use them, triple and quadruple them on the piece, and that will ensure it'll add strength, and it'll make sure if one slips out, you still have a bunch more. However, I just feel like it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I like the strong ones. Sometimes, every once in a while, they'll make them too strong, and you have to get 2 pairs of pliers and manhandle them like they're pure steel. And you know what? I prefer that to being too flimsy. But half the time, you hit on some really nice, decent ones. And then you have your graduated sizes used for different stuff. My gosh, I've been going for 7 minutes already. I feel like I hardly said anything. So, let's see. Let's organize this mess. So, AliExpress, I get almost all my stones now. Stones, beads. You can get just gorgeous long strands of beads, and like especially lava stone and shell beads, all different colors. Oh my gosh, like $2-3 you get this giant strand. It's like highway robbery, and it's gorgeous. It's real stones. Sometimes like I'll have to do one of those haul things where I like, this is my haul, and I'll pull all this stuff out of the bag that I just got in the mail. But AliExpress is freaking awesome. They're where I get my charms from. Don't ever buy charms anywhere else. If you use charms, you know, cute little heart charms to put on the ends of things. Animal charms, cats and dogs. Actually, I shouldn't say cats and dogs. You'd think cats and dogs, but the most popular charms are owls. Let's see if I can draw an owl. It's a cat. How do you make it an owl? I have to see one. Big eyes. Anyway, owls, turtles. You think I'm going to say dolphins, right? No. What's the third one? Now I can't remember. I had to look at my jewelry. Elephants. Elephants are... People think elephants are super cute. Even the elephant head, just an elephant head, is like... People think that's... Or the side view of an elephant. These 3 charms. Turtles, owls, elephants, people think are so cute. Jewelry people love these 3. Can't go wrong. And then cats and dogs, because you always have a cat and dog lover. So, anyway, silver and brass, those are charms. You don't have to do charms. It's just like an extra thing to throw on it. It makes it like you can add a couple bucks to the price, makes it look a little cooler. But anyway, stones and charms, AliExpress. It's looking messy again. Amazon, what do I do for Amazon? I do my chains, jump rings. I used to get my jump rings from Walmart, but the Walmart department never keeps them in stock, which irritates me. Chains and jump rings I get from Amazon. Walmart, I do get my pliers. Seriously, for someone who's been doing jewelry full-time for 10 years, can you believe my most valuable tools, my pliers, Basically, I only use flat nose, round nose, and cutters. And in a pinch, there's cutters on the end of these, which I have to be careful not to use by accident. But these cutters get in tighter places. But this pack is $8 at Walmart. $8, you get all three. I've probably bought a dozen of these packs over 10 years. I give them to apprentices. I have a pair everywhere I go. I have a pair like in my car, at home, at my other home. I don't have a bunch of homes because I'm wealthy just yet. I have a bunch of homes because I travel so much, and I go back to my dad's house and then I go to my apartment in the place where the mall is. Anyway, I still use these. My only concern is these pliers are not the sharpest to get in the tightest, but I've used my own practice to get around that, so I pretty much use these. Only once did I ever invest in high-end pliers, and when I say high-end, I just mean $20 pliers, and they were crap. They weren't any better than these, and they actually broke faster. I know there are higher-end pliers. Sorry, someone just interrupted me. I know there are pliers out there that are really, really good, and you guys can put them in the comments if you found some really good ones. I just haven't taken the time to search of all the things I do. It's ridiculous. But these cheap ones, the spring will break after a long time, but they hold up for years. Anyway, so Walmart, I do my pliers. I do my earring hooks. I used to do jump rings, no more. They don't keep them in stock. I do these displays. They have these displays. Really nice, not just flat. It's a very, very, very nice display. This one I painted red, but they're black. They're like $5 or $6 at Walmart. Do not buy these from any of the art stores. In fact, never get your displays from the art stores. They'll mark them up like 3 times what you should pay. Which brings me to another thing. So I get my little silhouettes from Walmart. I don't get any stones or wire from Walmart. They mostly have crap. Store Supply. Storesupply.com. That's a great place. And you could call them on the phone. They're really good customer service. That's where I get my ring boxes. They have these ring boxes with individual slots that I like. Literally every box with the felt insert with the individual comes out to like $2.43. So I have like 10 of them, probably 15 of them. You can get little ones, you can get longer ones. They're awesome. They're just Store Supply. They're where I bought this. Take this camera off this. They're where I bought this glass case to put my nicer stuff in. One of my apprentices broke the door on it, so now I've spun it around so it's empty. It's open in the back, but still. Anyway, there I bought these little silhouettes, these flat silhouettes, and then I also painted them. I painted each one. Storesupply.com. Really inexpensive, really great for displays. Oh, they're also where I got these bracelet stands. Bracelet stands. I like this. It's like a earth tone fabric-y, canvasy color, and then the black. Both really good. You should get the skinnier ones. These are called, I think they're 1.5 inch in diameter. These 2 inch in diameter, they're a little bit too fat. Any bracelet that's above medium is not going to fit on here. So these fit better. Get the smaller ones. This mannequin foot I got on AliExpress for like $6, and then I attached it to the stand. Okay, what else? What else do we need to know? Store Supply. Amazon is where I get my loose stones, because for some reason I can't seem to find them on AliExpress. They're probably there somewhere, but for Amazon and then I just go to local places. Oh, here's something. All of you who start out are going to go to a bead or stone shop, and you're going to be starry-eyed at a place that only does beads and stones, and the cashier is going to tell you all these mystical stories about how they'll change your love life, and they'll try to read your palm and tell you your future and everything. Do not be mystified by this. These guys straight up, now go in there and enjoy the view and learn as much as you can and look at some of the most beautiful stones ever. However, do not buy. Be very careful. If you buy, maybe buy one or two things just to treat yourself. But in general, be very skeptical, because these people, they take all the stones that Michaels has and Joanne. No, Michaels, Joanne, AC Moore, all the rest. They get them from China and India. They mark them up 5 times, right? The specialty bead stores mark them up another 3 times after that. So they're basically, they'll give you this gorgeous stone and tell you magical tales about it, and then tell you the stone is like $15 and they paid $1 for it. Or they'll give you a whole strand of gorgeous stones, like just absolutely beautiful, and that strand will be $30, and you could get it on AliExpress for $6.25. So if you really want to get from there, you know, if you have all the money to burn, go for it. But I just go there to learn and look and learn. If I see something I've never seen anywhere else and don't think I can ever find again, and it's reasonable, I bought maybe a little strand of something for like $16 that had like each one of these stones I could make an individual ring from, so I could justify it. But anyway, cases, all of your organization tools, Walmart. Never, ever, ever buy these cases from a craft store. They literally will charge you 3 times what Walmart will. These boxes I have here, these guys, $2 back in the day. I used to get these boxes for $2. Now I think they're up to like $3.50. Still a good deal. These wheels, $1. I think you go to Michael's, they'd be like $3. This silhouette right here, $6 at Walmart. I think it would be like $12.75 at Joanne Fabrics. And it just gets worse from there. I buy cords and chain in bulk. You can get, this is what I do on Amazon. I try to find them. I try to get them as low as possible. I haven't been able to find silver that doesn't tarnish, so I stick it out for a year, and then I switch the chain and throw it away. And if a customer ever comes back and says their chain changed color or whatever, I just give them a new chain for free. You know, copper is great. Copper doesn't seem to turn. Copper has a good coating. Brass, all those colors are good. Silver, hard to find silver. Even sterling silver needs to be polished after a time. Silver is a beautiful, what's it called? Beautiful color metal, but unfortunately it's always tarnishing, which I don't understand why. These guys seem to never tarnish. The chain will tarnish 100 times, and this lobster clasp on the end will be good as new. So I'll rip the lobster clasp off and use it again. But, and then charms. Most of my silver charms, another one is butterflies. Oh yes, butterflies are good if you're gonna buy some charms. As well as the elephants and the turtles and the owls. Butterflies and dragonflies, yes. And I'm telling you, why should I tell you to buy charms? You can get these charms for like 5 cents. You can get you can try them out, get like 10 charms for $1. It's crazy on AliExpress. But butterflies, dragonflies, hearts, music notes, especially the treble clef. Treble clef, which looks like this. 4 years of piano and I can still do it. Hopefully it's not backwards. Those little charms, people go crazy over them. I love people who say, oh, I'm a musician, and they don't know that that's a treble clef. It's pretty funny. They say, oh, I love music. That's why I like that little note. Technically it's not a note, but that's just music snobbery talking right there. You can call it whatever you want. What else? What other good charms? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot keys. Keys all day. Every kind of little skeleton key. It's supposed to be a scary skeleton key, but you get a tiny little cute one like this, all decorated up. Put it on a chain. Instant necklace. people go crazy, especially like 14 to 17-year-old girls will buy them like crazy. Put them on a 16-inch chain. If they're 18 is standard, but for a girl with a skinny neck, you need 16, like, so it's gonna actually show and not get lost in her shirt. There's my owl. I just pulled these out real quick. There's my elephant. I had a cuter elephant than that. That one's okay. Birds are good, like cute doves, like pretty birds. I guess an owl is technically a bird. Look at that heart. Isn't that the prettiest heart? And double-sided charms are better. See this? Flip it over. Same thing on the other side. That's good too. Elephant, double-sided. Key, double-sided. Owl, no good. Once it flips over, it looks ugly. That's okay. People still buy it, but the double-sided I like better. This bird, no good on the back. Just some fun stuff to think about. For men's necklaces, you want to get a spool of 2 millimeter. Don't get 1 millimeter. It's too small. 2 millimeter round cord leather cord, waxed leather, black. You want black. You can get other colors. They're fun, but 9 out of 10 times guys will want black. And then go and get a bunch of these bulk cords with the clasp already on them and a little length of chain on the end to make them adjustable. Get like a pack of 100. You can literally, this is Amazon. You could get a pack of these for, where'd my pen go? You could get a pack of 100 for like $6.75, which brings them to, who could do the math that fast? I might be exaggerating. But basically, you can get these suckers for like 21 cents each if you buy them in bulk. And they're strong. I can't break it. This is really strong. The only weak part, these stupid little things are usually incredibly weak and they'll slip off. So sometimes you might want to take this length off and put some heavy jump rings, maybe 2 or 3 jump rings on there. You don't have to make it this long. This side is usually good with the clasp. But other than that, this is strong and it helps. Say you make like a beautiful pendant, right? And it's copper, you have your jump rings matching, you have everything. You can't find a chain the right color to match. Voila. Here comes Mr. Black Cord, goes with everything. Now, unfortunately, let's say you have copper down here and then you have silver up here. That doesn't match. And if this cord starts to like slide down, then the silver is showing and ew, gross. I used to obsess over stuff like that until one of my apprentices was just like, just sell it. And I do, and people don't care. This stuff is in the back of your neck. No one sees it. If it does happen to slide down, the person can just slide it back. It's not a big deal. People do not care. They're looking at that beautiful pendant, and chances are people don't buy it for the cord. They're going to switch out the cord anyway. And people will buy just the cord oftentimes for pendants they have themselves. So you can sell this cord for much more than 21 cents. And don't feel guilty about it either, because if you feel like, oh, I'm ripping the person off, you're paying for all the effort of getting them in bulk and you're buying 100 of them. That person is not going to spend however much money. They're not going to spend like $18 to buy 100 of. I guess if they're 21 cents each, 100 of them would become like, they'll be $21, right? Still worth it. So that person will easily give you like $4 or $5 for this, because that's what they pay anywhere else. And you don't realize this when you buy clothes at the store. Everybody thinks wholesale is 40 to 50%, and you could charge wholesale if you're going to give your jewelry. Again, people keep talking about don't do consignment. Sorry, I'm totally changing topics now. Consignment is such a headache, horrible. You leave your pieces, you got to check on your pieces, you're not getting paid till something sells, but now you can't bring your pieces everywhere else to try to sell them. People want to look at your pieces, they're not available, they're locked up in this person's store, and that person often can only hold like 10 or 15 of your pieces, so it's not a good variety. They might not, over the course of a year, they might sell like 3 pieces of the 10, and meanwhile you're driving back and forth and doing all these phone calls to check up on your pieces and find out what's going on. And then when they finally sell 3 of your pieces, they're taking 50% or whatever. It's just a total waste of time. If you can make it work, make it work. I've never made it work. I've never known anyone else to make it worth their time. Instead, do wholesale. If a store really wants your stuff, Go as low as you can, that's still worth it to you, that still makes you feel good about the sale, and give them 10 or 20 pieces, and you never have to see them again. And if they don't sell them, that's their fault. All pressure is gone. You shake hands, you walk away, it's over. If they do sell your pieces and they happen to be good at it, they'll come back and order more from you. It happened to me, and I'm super happy. You've been following these videos, you'll know I just had the largest order ever of this store that came back 6 months later. And they've ordered more than any other store ever, and they came back 6 months later and ordered even more. So they obviously know how to sell. Most people don't. So anyway, wholesale. But still the best is selling direct. You being the seller, you know your pieces. You know how you can modify them. You can talk them up. You can explain how you made them. They're buying from the artist in person. All of that stuff makes people willing to buy and excited to buy something that they can't find in a conventional store. So direct will be the best until you build yourself big enough that you can't handle the orders. You need to open up multiple locations and hire staff. And when you get to that point, you'll be giving me tips because I'm somewhere in the middle. I have done that. I've been a loaner. I've had apprentices. I've had my stuff in other stores. I've done all of the above. And I have friends who are way ahead of me. I have one friend, she's married. Her husband has like 10 employees doing all the making. They have a whole barn where they just make pieces like crazy. The wife designs the pieces. The husband executes how they're made. The wife sets up multiple locations, hires another person just to handle the staff, and then they get a whole bunch of teens, like girls 18 to 21, to just be salespeople. And they have an army of like 40 employees and 5 locations, 5 permanent locations, and then they still do craft sales. So they're killing it, and they're still doing craft sales. So a really good craft sale, when you find the good ones, watch my video on how to sell art. Really good craft sale, can't beat it. But yeah, watch. Put in the search bar, Matt's Crazy Art, so you don't get somebody else's channel, because then I'll be jealous. How to sell. I'm sure there's a ton of videos like this, but if you want mine, you got to put in Matt's Crazy Art, how to sell art, all of that. Type it in. I know it's hard, but you can do it. Type the whole thing in the search bar and watch that video if you haven't yet. If you have watched that video, thank you. I'm just going to talk for a couple more minutes and then end this up and finish this up. But balance, you have a stone. You could do wire weavers will build this beautiful tapestry and then wrap it around the edge of the stone and then do a bail and then maybe have a few strands coming down to do something really pretty. And that's gorgeous. However, it could take them hours, and then if it takes you hours, you want to charge $75 to $200 for the piece, and it's hard to find people in that price range. I try to show people how you take one piece of wire, and with that one piece of wire, you just do one simple little design, and then you can knock this out in like 8 minutes, and then you can sell it depending on how much you paid for the stone and the wire and everything and what your venue is. You could sell it for anywhere between 10 to 45. A little bit more if it's a really, really big, beautiful stone and you worked, and the tapestry is a little bit fancy. You could get up to maybe 55 to 60, but much easier to find people in this price range than this price range. And it's easier to find 100 people in this price range than it is to find one person in this price range. So do the math on that. Who's making more money there? Anyway, but nothing wrong with these people. I love these channels. I love watching these people. I don't have the patience to sit through them. One of these days I will, and then I'm going to try to find the shortened version of this and show you guys how to do it. I think I'm going to work on that in the next couple months. But something that I noticed is after I do a wrap, if the wire's still a little malleable, I'll do this real fast because I've done these patterns over and over and over. Then I'll go back with my fingernail and with my tools, and I will tweak every little curve, because I want it to look just right. And that's where I always preach against perfectionism, but this is not perfectionism. This is just like, this is an enjoyable moment for me. I'm not stressing about it. This is where I'll turn a piece that might look like, maybe it looks like this, right? And after I just take my fingernail and the pliers and I carefully, because you don't want to do it the wrong way, you'll make a weird look that looks unnatural. And I'll gently prod all the little pieces until I get this to look like that. And do you see the difference? It's just, I feel like that, the customer's like, cool. That the customer's like, ooh, I could see that on my neck. So, I had one here I was going to show you. Oh, I knocked it over. Here it is. Nice black stone with silver. Very simple. But see how each of these curves is really balanced well? And the swirl and everything. I probably spent 40% of my time wrapping it and 60% just sitting there like this and just carefully pressing each piece, each little part of the wire to get the curve just right. If you haven't developed yet a sense of balance with symmetry and aesthetics, that's just something to work on. Just look at what catches your eye as most beautiful. I don't like to do things that are totally square and totally balanced. You've seen before, I made a piece and it ended up looking like this, like a picture frame. And I messed with it until, even if the stone was still square, the piece ended up being a little more asymmetrical. I think I even got like a loop down there and then a loop up there. Sometimes just a half moon where all the pretty stuff is on one side and the other stuff is just plain or just beads coming down. That can be pretty. You don't want total symmetry. You don't want it to be a mirror image on both sides. But you also want balance. If you want a lot over here or maybe a little bit over here, but it's just like a flow. Your piece should look like it's dancing. It should look like it has character. And some people are rolling their eyes saying, well, duh, everybody knows that. And other people are like, surprisingly, other people are like, oh, that resonates with me. So again, take anything from this that helps you, and anything that you think I'm just running my mouth. I really think I'm just running my mouth. I can't believe it, but the last video, everybody really seemed to appreciate it. I got a great response, so I thought I'd do another rambling video. Here you go, guys. This one's even longer. Thank you for sticking with me. Obligatory crazy faces. Let's get the pretty model from the Halloween video in. There she is. Watch that if you haven't seen it. Halloween jewelry. I'll see you guys next time.